You know, guys, I have gotten to the point where I'm kind of an old fogey. I'm turning 32 years old this year of our Lord 2024, and I don't really know if I want to do the whole super bike on the street thing anymore. But this S1000RR, the more I ride it, the more I'm like, wow, this is such a game-changing bike for the superbike category. I have seldom ridden a superbike like this that is genuinely so easy and so nice to get along with. And the more miles I put on this bike, the more I really come to like it and appreciate it and really enjoy it. It's been such a slow burn with this thing, and I've been super excited to own it and ride it. But the biggest thing that's cool about this bike, obviously, is that while it is mine for a short amount of time, it is a giveaway bike. So head over to yammynoob.co. This sweepstakes actually ends in late March, so your time is running out to get entered to win this bike. So don't delay. It's going to come here before you know it. Head over to yammynoob.co, become a member, join our Discord community, get automatic entries to win these motorcycles. We're doing them all the time now. We're doing these flashy, awesome, new, top-of-the-line bikes, all the cool stuff that people want to see. And you can interact with me. We do live streams every week. It's a ton of fun. So go over there, sign up, and enjoy. So yeah, let's just jump on the bike. Let's go have some fun today. And you know, we can talk a little bit about how this bike has just been a nice slow burn for me, man. And honestly to God, like, I'd never wanted a BMW before I bought this S1000RR, but now having ridden the XR, I'm like, that might be my speed. The coolest thing about the BMW is it reminds me a lot of Honda in that it's built so well, it works so well, everything about it feels really, really nice. And when you get it on a nice flowing road like this, the amount of performance on tap is just incredible, man. You can really fly with this bike, you can enjoy it, and it always feels like it's got your back, you know? It's super stable. It really is super enjoyable to just hustle this bike through corners. And you just know it'd be a missile on track. Super nice, man. But yeah, the more time I spend on it, the more I really, really enjoy that inline 4 feeling. I've actually never owned an inline 4 bike myself. I've only bought inline 4s for giveaway bikes, so I've owned them kind of here and there, you know. Let me think. The Fireblade, the R6, the R1 is an inline 4, but it's a cross plane, it's a little different. ZX6 I've had, this BMW S1000RR, I've had a Gixxer Thau, Honda Hornet. So I've had a couple inline 4s here and there as giveaway bikes, but I've never personally owned one. And this was the first bike I've owned as an inline 4 that I'm like, okay, actually I could really do this, you know. And I think it all started with me doing that gigantic like single day ride on it, where I did like 380 miles in one day on this bike, like an 8-hour ride. And that's a lot for a super bike, let me tell you. I was kind of like, wow, that was a lot of mileage for one day on the S1000RR. But when I did that, I was like, man, the fact that I could do it with this bike was so cool. And it just makes me still think about that S1000XR, man. Literally before I left to go film this video, I think it was Bike World, they put out a review on the M1000XR. I don't know why, dude. That bike is just, it's still calling to me, man. It's still calling to me, even though I did the sport touring sled thing. There's something about having that kind of power on tap and being that comfortable. It's just cool, man. It's just really cool to be able to do that, and it's something I would love to do one day. But I don't think I'm quite at that ultimate dad mode level yet. I think you have to be 40 years old minimum to go and buy an M1000XR. There's probably some contract you have to sign before you finalize the deal, where they're like, okay, you're for sure a dad and you're over 40? Okay, now you can buy this bike. Where I feel like the S1000RR doesn't have that as much. I see a lot of young guys taking out crazy loans to get these things, and then yeah, I've seen many a 20-year-old riding S1000RRs and being financially irresponsible, which, you know, that's half the fun of being 20 years old, right? My man on the bicycle gave me a nod. He knew I was a cyclist too. He was like, I can sense it, I can sense the energy. Now, the only thing about the S1000RR, and obviously the XR2, to be perfectly frank, there's so much performance on these bikes that you just feel kind of silly even riding them on the street. And I still feel that way. Like, I don't think that you need 200 horsepower on the street. I don't think anybody would argue with that there. Is it nice to have? Yes, it's very cool. But at the same time, when you're riding, you know, more chilled out twisties like this, it just feels like you're babying the bike all the time. The only place I feel like I can use this thing is on a highway on-ramp. And then when I'm on the highway, if I want to get a little crazy and get around people, you can do that too with it, but it still feels like such massive overkill. I really think 120 ponies is the right thing to use with a motorcycle. About 120 horsepower is really nice, really enjoyable. It doesn't feel like it's too much. It feels like you can use a lot of it without getting into too much trouble, but it's still a super fast motorcycle. Just a lot of power on this bad boy, you know? That inline 4 is so nice though. This has to be one of my favorite inline 4s for sure. Absolutely one of my favorites. It just has really linear power, which I really like. And that has to be down to the shift cam technology, but the way it pulls mid-range and low down is really nice, man. Really, really nice what it can do. So yeah, it does always feel like you're puppy dogging the S1000RR. That's something I don't really like about it. But if you're mature enough to just sit there and be like, okay, I have like infinite Godzilla power at my right wrist whenever I want, but I'm just not going to use it, you know, that's certainly one way to live your life. I don't really like riding like that. I like actually enjoying my bikes and really using them as much as I can. And honestly, even leader bikes on track, I feel like I'm barely touching them, you know, like I've taken the V4R out on track, the R1 on track, and it always feels like you're leaving so much on the table, because especially for me, as a club racer who's done quite a bit of endurance racing and sprint racing, you look at the expert class and what they're able to do with the leader bikes specifically, and you're like, okay, I'm leaving like 5 seconds out there. Yeah, that's going to be quite difficult to find for me at my current skill level. And so, I don't know, it's also like, it's a bit silly. But the biggest thing about these, obviously, is the amount of technology they have in them. The flagship leader bikes nowadays have tech that you just can't find in a lot of the middleweight category motorcycles. It's starting to trickle down. I believe Yamaha's new MT-09 has the 6-axis IMU and some of the much more advanced traction control technologies. But I mean, these leader bikes, they throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. Like this S1000RR has cruise control and heated grips and, you know, all the TC and electronics you could ever want. Wheelie control, slide control, you know, all stuff that's designed to not only make you ride better, but also safer. And that's a big point that I think about too, you know, throughout the last 5 years or so. Not only has my riding chilled out substantially, I don't do any crazy jigs or bra level things on the street, but you know, I still like to have fun from time to time. But you know, I wear an airbag vest nowadays. I'm always fully kitted up. I wear all my gear, and having a bike that is gonna be able to save you there on your not so great days is also really cool. You know, it's also really cool to have a bike that you can use day to day that's gonna help keep you a little bit more safe. You know, I think that's really nice. Goodness gracious, we are going quite slow. But the problem is, when you're on an S1000RR, everybody feels slow. Everything feels slow all the time. You know, doing 30 feels like you're going 5 miles an hour on a regular vehicle. It's brutal. Brutal. Ooh, that's so nice, dude. But yeah, what a slow burn the S1000RR has been. I didn't expect this bike to be such a slow burner. I thought, you know, most bikes I get on, I ride them, I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. I understand what it is. I understand what they're going for. But this bike is genuinely one of those where you're like, no, the more you ride it, the sweeter and sweeter it becomes, and the more you come to really appreciate what this thing is trying to do. The precision that it has, the capabilities that it has, and it's genuinely just like a very enjoyable thing to interact with, you know? Everything works extremely well. Everything is super predictable on it. You can tell it's built to a super high quality standard too, and that's nice, you know? It is really nice to get that with this bike. And of course, another reason the S1000RR tends to grow on you a little bit is the fact that it has crazy levels of performance. And it's fun to squeeze on it, baby. Yeah, that's a motor and a half, man. That's insane. So juicy, above 8,000 RPMs. That's nice. Could be in first gear everywhere, man. That's crazy. That is super fun. Even though it's got just a slip-on on it, you know, sounds good when you're on the boil. I like that. It is funny, I mentioned how I was like, oh, you gotta be like over 40 to buy the M1000XR. I kind of feel like this is a bike that over 30 should be the minimum. Man, if I had this when I was 23, I'd be dead. No doubt about it. No doubt about it, man. It just, you have to protect those squid demons so much when you're on a bike like this. Because you can just squeeze on it and just obliterate anything in your path. It's incredible. That teleportation feeling of fast bikes is something that I think we're all addicted to. You know, the fact that I can look where I want to go right here and I can be there in the blink of an eye is so sick. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up today's vlog. Man, again, still just really loving this S1000RR. Really still thinking about that S1000XR. This motor is awesome. This whole setup is so sick. This is a really, really special motorcycle, and I'm super glad to be giving it away to one of you lucky people out there. So head over to GameNoob.co. Make sure you get your entries locked and loaded to win this not this M1000, it's an S1000RR. Kind of wish it was an M. That'd be cool, huh? Become a member, join up. It's a great way to support the show, and we are always giving away cool bikes. We've done 50 different giveaway bikes, over $500,000 worth, if you can believe it. And so that's pretty special. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.
Oh, I love being here inside of the warm embryonic fluid of Valentino Rossi. Me and him just sharing foods together. Maybe he's gonna eat some pizza or some pasta here in the hills of Tavullia. But you know where else it's nice and warm and cozy is this next episode of Yami Noob. You can click on right over here. I'd love for you to watch it. But anyways, I'm gonna stay here hanging out. Me and him might go onto the track later, but I'll catch you guys later.